Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Feeding the Soul podcast. Today, we have a very special treat for you. Our guest, I had to write all this down because there is a lot on her resume. She is a restaurateur, a chopped judge, a two-time TOC champ, current team leader on Barbecue Brawl, the world record airline mile earner. I just made that up, but it's probably true. A master sari rapper and Bollywood party host, a mom, a wife, and last but not least, and I can vouch for this, one of the nicest, most genuine people you will ever meet. Everybody welcome Chef Maneet Chauhan. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. That's very kind of you. I'll just let you talk. You can sing all your praises. I'll just sit back and I'll be like, okay.
Well, easy to do, easy to do. So, as you know, everyone, we want to focus on not just the chef or winemaker we're interviewing, but also on what it is that's near and dear to their heart that drives them. But before we get to that, for the two or three people in the country who don't know Chef Maneet, tell us your story, sort of like a 2 minutes or less. How did you get started, and what fast forward catapulted you to where you are today? And I realize we would normally need about an 8 hour podcast for that, but we'll do the condensed version.
Well, I think food has always been my love language. I think it was love at first bite, from the first time that my sister gave me aloo paranthas, which are flatbread stuffed with potatoes, and that was it. I think I had tasted deliciousness and there was no going back. Grew up in a really small town in India where everybody was studying to be a doctor or an engineer because at that time those were the two acceptable, bankable careers. And yours truly wanted to be a chef, and there were a lot of naysayers around. Thank God nobody from the family, because my parents were like, do whatever you want, just make sure that you're the best at it. Because my dad would always say, he's like, we come from a modest middle class family. What we are going to leave for you is a really good education. So both my sister and I, we were very particular about that. Went to the best school in, culinary slash hotel management, because they weren't culinary schools per se in India at that time. Did my undergrad in, Wellcome Group Graduate School of Hotel Administration. It's still one of the best in India. And during that time, I asked one of my chef instructors where I should, go to school, the best culinary school in the world. And without even batting an eyelid, he said the CIA, or the Culinary Institute of America. So that's what
That's
I did.
awesome.
I applied, came here, graduated, had a couple of really tough years of, um, you know, because I had come on a student visa. So to get the student visa to a work visa, it was quite the challenge. But I persisted, and that's it. I worked close to Philadelphia, in Chicago, in New York. Had my daughter around 14 years ago. That's the time I decided I needed to go entrepreneurial. Started my own consulting company, and then from there, books and TV, and I think the whole thing was just say yes for everything, and you never know when the most interesting opportunities come along, and that's how Nashville happened. That's how all the different restaurants happened, just by saying yes.
So you brought up, well, I mean, that was a whirlwind. That was an impressive job to do that in under 2 minutes. So Nashville, my wife's been to your restaurants there. It's on my to-do list. It's fantastic. But I mean, we have Nashville behind me here. What brought you of all the cities in America to Nashville to set up roots?
I think Chopped had really taken off, and there were people who were calling me from around the country. I was, we were living in New York, and I was getting calls from people all across the country that, hey, would you like to open something here? Would you like to open something here? And in between, we get a call, would you like to open something in Nashville? And my husband and I, we are business partners. We do, um, even though it seems like a really far-fetched thought, we always do explore each and every opportunity. And that's what we did. We came to Nashville and we fell in love with Nashville. And I'm talking about 12 years ago, when it wasn't the coolest or the hottest city that it is right now. It was at the cusp of it. And we saw the potential. So there was definitely the potential for growth, and we are like, why not? At that time, also, we had in our mind that it was going to be more of a licensing deal where I commute from New York maybe once a month and we figure it out. But the 6 month project, it's the South, took around 2 years. And along that, we found out we were expecting baby number two. Well, he had plans of his own. He decided to be born the day we opened the restaurant on
Oh,
November 18, 2014, and he was a preemie like 3 months early. So we're like, if he's so adamant in being a Nashvilleian, who are we to stop it? And that's what we did. We moved over here, went to New York, wrapped up everything, moved over here, and decided to make the best of it.
that's awesome. So your son made your decision for you.
Yeah, we named him Karma.
That's fantastic. You mentioned you say sort of a habit to say yes to everything. So that actually leads right into my next question. Like that energy and all these different projects, anytime your fans see you on Instagram, whatever, it's always like high energy, tons of positivity. How? How on earth do you
It's so
do that? Like, is
ironic
there
you're
something special in
asking
your
right
coffee?
now, as I am struggling so desperately trying to get over the jet lag from coming from Hawaii. Um, I think it comes from the attitude of gratitude. That's it. Because I have been on the side where things have been very difficult, where you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, where it's been bleak, where you're like, okay, what am I doing next? So I guess it comes from there, where I'm so grateful for, for being asked for anything, that the only answer is yes. And it's been incredible because it has always led to something which has always been rewarding, and it doesn't need to be it doesn't only need to be financially rewarding. It doesn't need to be only like PR rewarding, or people getting to hear it. It just can be that I walk away feeling with my cup full after a conversation. So it just needs to be that we cannot quantify the returns, right? You've got to be, it can come in any form, and you've got to just be grateful for it and have your eyes open for what you're getting.
That kind of positivity is really refreshing to see, especially in an industry where it can be incredibly exhausting. I mean, anyone who's anywhere near a restaurant knows it can be incredibly exhausting. Um, so speaking of that, you're obviously you're an acclaimed chef. You own multiple restaurants. Your mom, your wife. You're active in the community. You see pictures. Like, how do you juggle? Now we talk about with energy, but like scheduling and balance. So it can be really easy to put too much time and energy maybe into the business and let something else drop off. Like, where do you find that happy medium?
I think that the word balance is a myth, right? People keep on
Okay.
saying that balance, balance. I don't think balance exists, right? I do think that passions exist. And I think if you follow your passion, then then you are, then you're satisfied with what you do. To me, I believe in the moment getting, a 200% of me. I don't believe in going to work and constantly thinking about, the kids at home. I know that I've already done a good job where they are taken care of the moment that I'm at work. And when I'm with the kids, then I'm not thinking about what's going on at work, right? I
Right.
am extremely grateful that the team that I have, the team that we have, are very again passionate and very competent people. And it took me a long time to reach there, but I realized that I cannot be at the same time, everywhere. And this was literally a conversation where Vivek sat me down, and he's like, it's up to you. Are you happy with one restaurant, or do you want to grow? Do you want to
Mm,
travel? Because if you go ahead and get into the minutia of things, then you will not be able to look at the big picture. And I
right.
think that was some way in which I started training myself as to, you know start trusting the people to do their job, right? It might not be the way you want it, but you've put your expectations across, and it will be done, right? Doesn't mean that you've got to cut corners, but you've got to trust the people in your life who surround you, both in terms of work and, who come and help you at work, that they are doing a good job, the best of their ability. And how you motivate them to do the best job is is fairly simple. You respect them for what they do, right? I used to work with somebody who was constantly, what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is wrong.
Hmm.
It didn't motivate me. It didn't inspire me to get up early in the morning and get into work. And you're like, okay, right, fantastic. I'll show up to work. And you've got to kind of motivate people, respect them for what they do.
I think anyone who's watching a barbecue brawl right now can see that attitude in your team. Um, they do those little mini interview clips, and you can see like you motivating or pumping someone up, and then it'll go to that person like, wow, Maneet really made me feel good about I mean, it's you can see that sort of positivity loop going on just on barbecue brawl.
And I
Um,
actually in barbecue brawl, I did that across for all the teams, because it was not a matter of, again, like in competition cooking, I don't believe in winning because somebody else did a bad job. I
right.
don't care. I think, again, it's taken me a long time to reach there. To me, I believe in winning because I did a good job, and that's it. Capiche?
It seems to be working. I think you have some belts and rings to prove that. I do want to just follow up real quick. You mentioned when you have faith in what's going on in the restaurant, and you can trust in that, you you feel like you don't have to worry about what's going on somewhere else, right? So you mentioned when you're at work, you don't necessarily have to worry about kids at home. But I am curious, when you do go home and your kids, they have a super famous chef mom, do they ask for like really wild dishes, or do they want simple, like do they really dive into the whole like super chef mom or not really?
So, I mean, if you think about it, in the end of the day, this is who they have always seen. They haven't seen a different version of me, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's like I remember judging when both Shagun and Karma were in me. So to them, this is their normal, right? In all honesty, they prefer Vivek's cooking to mine, because when I'm cooking, I'm like, okay, this is it. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Vivek puts a lot of love. He takes his time because he enjoys doing it, right? But no, it's uh, at home we try to keep our food very, very healthy, because we do go out so often, and when we go
Mhm.
out, we love food, so we want to enjoy those different dishes, and the kids get to enjoy it because they are with us. So we try to keep the food very, very simple, very balanced at home. Nothing crazy.
Okay. Okay. I'm always curious about that. I mean, growing up with a super chef as a parent, like you never know if they're just asking for peanut butter and jelly or if they want something wild.
Well, if they
Okay.
ask peanut butter and jelly, they will not get it. That's it. I'm like, you're going to have an egg white omelet. That's what you will have.
That's great. All right, let's switch gears to the main focus here at the podcast, and that is what sort of drives you as far as a cause, a charity, something that's near and dear to your heart. So here's how I want to ask this question. If in a perfect world, let's say you actually had some free time, and I know that's not a real thing, and you could organize one giant fundraiser for any cause or charity, what would it be and why?
Oh, I have organized a lot of fundraisers, which is, to me, I think community is very, very important. And at times, causes which are close to home will, you tend to put a lot more into it. So, as I told you that, our son was a preemie. So there was, I definitely have been involved in March of Dimes. We did a big gala
Hmm.
over here, which was, surprise, surprise, Bollywood themed, of course. I am actually going to be the co-chair on Autism Speaks, because our son is on the
Hmm.
spectrum. So that's going to happen next year, which is incredible. But to me, I don't, again, the answer is yes, right? Like food based, like National Food Project, or, No Kid Hungry. Like there's so many in God's love. Like we I I spend a lot of time trying to give back because, again, I'm so grateful. So if anybody approaches me, if I can't personally be there, I make sure that either there's an auction item or there is something that we are doing to represent or to help, because it's not easy raising money in these
Yeah,
you know galas and stuff. So you've got to kind of, yeah, just be there, just show up.
that's great. I'm gonna make sure that there's link, everything you mentioned there, I'm gonna put links in there so we
Please
can
do.
have
That would be
everyone help
amazing.
support. Okay, so let's get to the lightning round. We always end the lightning round. So just like those ink blot tests, whatever pops into your mind, just blurt it out. We're gonna start really surface level and then we'll get a little deep. First order of business, sweet or savory?
Sweet and savory.
Oh, if you're gonna go both, you gotta explain.
So
At the same time, or it depends on your
I
mood?
always, whenever I'm making a dish, for example, if there's a crab cake, right? Like I was in Hawaii and I made these crab cakes, which was savory and spicy, and it had a sweet chutney on it. So I always think that sweet and savory are two flavor profiles that always go together. I mean, just think
Mm,
about a choco chip cookie. It takes it to the next level when it has some salt on it, right? So that's why, to
that's
me, as a
true.
flavor profile, I want both of those.
A unique answer. It's the only person who's ever said both. All right, this one's a little deeper, and considering all the traveling you do, I'm very interested to hear the answer. The last great meal you had and where?
We were in Maui, and there is a place which is called Mama's Fish House, which I think has become, Vivek, and my favorite place. We go there. It's incredible because it's right on the beach, so you see the sun setting right in front, and they do the quality of seafood is incredible. It's been around for years and years, and they've really kept up with the quality. So there was this whole huge kampachi, deep fried, and their
Mm.
bouillabaisse is out of the world. So that was, I think, the last meal, which was like absolutely memorable.
There's something to be said about fresh seafood right on the water like that.
Amazing. It's just like, and it's an iconic place. I think it's been around since 1973, and it's almost
Oh,
impossible
wow.
to get reservations. So I kind of shamelessly get in touch with my chef friends, and I'm like, can you? That was the, like,
Hey,
when I went to Maui, other than the work that I was doing, that was the only plan that we had. And the
if you're going
rest
to
we
work
just went,
23 hours a day, you got to take advantage of the benefits, right?
yeah, true.
One kitchen tool you absolutely cannot live without.
Spoon.
You didn't even
I
think about it.
use
That was boom.
I know because it is. It's always in my pocket. Spoon is something which not only can you use. To me, the most important thing in a kitchen is when you're creating flavors, taste, right? And you've got to. So you need to do that. And at times, people are like they're putting some over here, tasting it, putting. You need to get that entire mouth feel of it, which I think is very important. But then with a spoon, you can also use it to like peel ginger, or even like squeeze lemons and stuff. The
Hmm.
versatility of a spoon is amazing. But the most important it is because as a chef, it's the taste. That is what you have to rely on.
Absolutely. What's always in your fridge?
What's always in my fridge? Um, Yogurt. Freshly
Mm.
made yogurt. I always make yogurt from scratch. So, like yogurt, butter, those and ghee, like those are the three things that we grew up. It was made fresh at home, and that's something that I continue. And yogurt not only is, everybody's like, how boring, but yogurt is basically the basis for what I use for all my kebab marinades and stuff. When I marinate fish, when I marinate meats, when I marinate vegetables, I make sauces out of, the curries that I make. I have yogurt in it. That's how I add spices to it. So I use it a lot. The versatility of yogurt is amazing in an Indian kitchen.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. My Lebanese grandparents, I never forget. They're making homemade lebanese in the fridge, and then my
Yep,
mom did it, and Margaret always has lebanese in the house.
yep,
You can do
yep,
so much with it.
absolutely.
Last but not least, and this is the deeper one. If you could share a bottle of wine with anyone, living or past, who would it be?
To me, it's like whenever I think about sharing a bottle of wine, which I do on a regular basis, is with Vivek, right?
Oh, nice.
It is, I mean, I still remember when we had started dating and we couldn't afford expensive bottles of wine. We would splurge on expensive bottles of wine. That was our date night. So there is something very interesting to be sharing a bottle of wine with somebody who gets you, with somebody who you know you can have a conversation which could be deep or a really stupid conversation, right? Like you don't have to put on a show. This is what it is,
Right.
because I think wine is something which is so complex, right? So if you can share that feeling with somebody that you don't have to be very complex about, I think that's basically what it is.
That's so romantic. I might put a little picture of the two of you with a heart on it in the background. You never know. Well, thank you so much. This was fun. I appreciate your
Absolutely,
time.
always. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you click on the links down there of the different charities she mentioned. Um, Chef mentioned that it is hard to raise money in today's day and age for causes. And so even if you can't give, you could share their links, their social media platforms, any little bit helps. So thank you very much. And again, Chef, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you check out the charity we talked about and don't forget to follow us wherever you find us: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram.